it's not one of those houses of ill repute, I'll let you know. And no, they don't sell this room by the half hour. Hang on a second, see if I can just... I think Rich was one who said earlier, is it portrait or is it landscape? I think I've sussed it now, so it looks like we're fine. Hopefully you can hear me. So it's kind of like, I bet you're thinking, where is he? Can't tell you. I'm an international man of mystery, as a ninja once said. So I can't really tell you, but I can tell you, I'm not at home and I'm not on the Scepted Isle either. No, I'm away. I can't tell you. I genuinely can't tell you. No, I can't. Anyway, bloody 35 degrees today. Bit warm, the old north. What? So welcome to the Theatre of the Mind. It's the 100th live. Not quite sure when we started it because all my computer stuff is back in Blighty. But because I said we were going to do the 100th tonight, there are certain things that I'm not able to do tonight simply because, hang on a second, I'm trying to work out how and where and when. But yeah, like that wallpaper, that's definitely one of those boudoir type wallpapers. It's almost like a summer's day. God blimey, you can say that again, Retro. So I'm going to go through some of your stuff tonight on the live. I'm going to give you some very, very important insight around the Manchester Airport thing, because I understand that there are two investigations running parallel. There's a police investigation, but there's also, how did they phrase it? There's two people on police bail, but they haven't been charged. Or have they been charged? There's nothing in the media today. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we will get a real deep dive into that, because I'm going to give you some insight as to how things work and where they work and why they work and stuff that you won't have the insight to. So I'm going to give you that, as well as not sure, because I'm abroad, the defence is that I haven't seen anything to say that Tracy Ann Cannon, thank you very much. I haven't seen anything to say that anyone's been charged of anything. So I am completely unaware. And I've had what's the old euphemism? I've borrowed somebody's laptop so I can have a look. So we'll have a look at your comments. We'll allow people to get their feet under the table. I mean, has one of the bailed still got a headache? Nuts and bolts. Oh, he's got a cyst on the brain. And yet every time he's got a cyst on the brain, like that grifter in the middle who saw an opportunity, ambulance chaser, as the Americans would call it. They said, no, he's got a cyst on the brain. And then, oh my word, he's near death's door. Hang on, he's standing next to you. He's sitting next to you. And then the video comes out. So let's talk about that in just a little while. We're going to talk about, as I say, a real deep dive into that. We'll talk about Strictly and ginger sphericals. Nearly swore. We'll talk about the Labour Party and the Chancellor, who's come out and just... we'll talk about Paris 2024. Did you watch the opening ceremony on Friday? We're going to talk about the RAF and Trump and Cumface and everything. So we're going to talk about everything. Hopefully for about 90 minutes. See if I can last that long. My age, be a bonus. Celine Dion was amazing, says Leah. Yeah. So was Gaga. I mean, Gaga's voice is just insane. It's just wonderful. But let me talk about it in a little while. Simply because just joined. Looks like Adrian's doing a porn vid. Andy, you're letting the secret out, man. As I say, they don't sell this room by the half hour, but judging by the wallpaper, Jeremy Vine shared the full CCTV of the Manchester Airport incident today. By the way, if you want to... Why are you in a curry house, Des? That's proper funny. That's proper funny. I'm abroad. Mind you, if anybody hears me in this establishment, they're probably saying, what on earth is that guy doing in that room? He's talking to himself. Can you hear him? Honestly, he's talking to himself. Do you think we should call the police? How do we end shite? and the air conditioning is working, so I'm just bragging. Not that, I want to upset you. Leah says, I don't think I've missed any of the 100 live episodes. Leah, thank you very much. 1, 2, 3, MYD. All right, let's get to the comments, because I know it's part of the tradition of the live to allow people to get their feet under the table. And before I start getting into the comments, smash the likes, man, you're wrong. Yes, it does look like either a curry house or a boudoir of ill repute, doesn't it? You'll be glad when I'm back home, if I make it that far. GB Patriot says, Rev, have you heard Jay Slater was pushed down the ravine for owing a deal at 12 grand for a Rolex he kept? What's the source? I know GB Patriot otherwise engaged currently, but on the live, just contact me with the details. Andy Turner says, I'm getting bored with Facebook and YouTube. Nothing on anything apart from doom and destruction. Do you know, Andy, I agree with you completely. I did think about just doing, so it's the final Sunday live of the month, and normally on the final Sunday live, it's Ask Adrian Anything. So we're going to have to interact, me and you. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can kind of center myself. Oh, that's better. Yeah, I do like things that are balanced. That's why I'm sitting down. I'm with you. Everything's just, like the Paris Olympics. I'm not watching it. I'm absolutely categorically not watching it. I wish all the GB looks like Boris Johnson's mega money refit. That's actually funny. Yeah, I'm not sure that would have cost 300 quid a roll, though. Blimey, probably got that knockoff down the local market. They're not watching this, so I can get away with whatever I want. Did you find a piece of Battenberg on your where? On me where? Beach volleyball final, maybe. Rich, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. AAA, the fourth emergency service. So I've had to nick somebody's laptop. Oh, sorry. Repurpose somebody's laptop so I can see your comments. And it feels much better and much more intimate and close with this laptop than, and I've got all my notes. Normally, I print them off on a computer, like big type. That's a posh-looking travel-in, Tower Block Tracy says. You could be right. But do you know what? When it starts to get dark, because it's dark here now, and I think in Blighty it shouldn't be. Where are we? Are you 8 o'clock? Yeah, it shouldn't be for another hour or so, but it's pitch black here. GB Patriot says, P.S. Reverend Allen, still looking after mum. GB Patriot, got that one. Andy Turner, morning. Andrew James, good afternoon. Ooh, there's something that the chaps are talking about in the comments that I would like to pass a comment about. I'm going to tell you about my visit to the doctor. He said, cough. I said, well, you can put them down for a kick-off. Those that know. So my cough hasn't gone. I'm on antibiotics. I think it's for the cough. I'm not quite sure what else he was trying to get rid of. Probably me, but we'll talk about that later. Andrew James says, good afternoon, Reverend. It's good evening where I am. It's pitch black. He says, word of warning, and I'm getting the new Mind Games set on vinyl. Blimey, Andrew James. Have you taken out a third mortgage? They shipped with defects and warps. Oops. I'm not sure that couriers... Amalia, thank you. Oregano. It's the Americans. They keep foisting this like American words on us. It's not oregano. Tablock Tracy, it looks like my S&M dungeon. Wonderbar. I'm chained to the desk. You just can't see. And no, I'm not letting you have a look. Yeah, wrong. I'm naked from the chest down. The couriers have no idea about vinyl nowadays and how to look after it. So they'll just kind of throw it around. I was going to say hoy it around, but that's a northeastern expression. There is a professor. Oh, yeah, Leah says, the Americans pronounce herbs as herbs. I know. What are they on? And I've got some really nice oregano in my back garden. Does that mean I'd have to go through my back door to get my back garden? Does that sound as a lady garden? Every, aka Hermes, are a joke, Couriers, Hayden says. I agree. Manda says, evening Adrian and chat. Evening Manda. I agree, because you just can't throw vinyl around and leave it near some heat, because vinyl don't like heat. And the fact that it costs an absolute fortune for this, Malia, oregano tea. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I'll have a look at that when I get back tomorrow, after I've finished directing this porn film. Let's watch The Garden Backdoors, Pennine Counties. And Retro says, vitamin D is good for the lungs. Got out in the sun. Oh, yes, absolutely. Polar Sky, what's with the name change, chick? Oh, you're going far too deep, far too quick for me. Story of my life. Age thing. So Andy says, bring on the old fart. Adrian Allen, you tart. Or should I say, the Reverend? Yes. So I had lots of things planned for tonight. But I had an emergency call that, oh, evening, Reverend. Who's that? Hang on. So all the first timers, if you're in the body of the kirk this evening, welcome. Yeah, get everybody to budge up in the pew so you can fit in. But if you are brand new, then let me know and I will absolutely pop your cherry. I mean, look behind me. I do think it's quite appropriate for popping cherries. Chris says, is that a flock wallpaper, Adrian? It feels nice. I give it a bit of a rub every now and again, just for tonight. Peter Sadler. Hang on, who was it that says I'm a first timer? The Jacobite. Hi, Adrian. Well done on 100. Shame it's not a phone-in. There is a story, which I'm not going to tell you tonight. You'll have to wait till Wednesday. Who said I was a first timer? Unless, of course, Anita James. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Anita. Are you a first timer? I'll give you one just in case. All right, okay. Get a Polar Sky. Nigel Beasley, first time texter. Nigel, I'll even pop yours for you. So all the first timers, if you're in the body of the kirk tonight, just let me know in the comments, because it is a tradition within this particular denomination that we pop people's cherries if they're a first timer. Pennine says, beautiful wallpaper. Turnbulls of Ram's Bottom. I think my Ram's Bottom is definitely flocked. Stuart says that he can buy it for himself, Andrew. And DC, it's all kicking off in London. Tommy Robinson's been arrested on terror charges. I know. I can't quite. Hang on. T33 MVD. Team VD? I mean, porn set. Evening, Reverend. It was me. First time. Texted. Not Nigel. Martin and Annette. There was 3 names in there. I'll just pays me money and takes me choice. Andy Turner, give you one in that room. Be careful. I know. So let's get back to mind games and vinyl. So it's kind of hip to have vinyl. It's kind of cool and trendy is an awful word, but it's kind of cool to have vinyl. But people don't know how to handle it, because you can't put your greasy fingers on vinyl. I've seen people kind of pick it out of the paperback, and I'm like, honestly, it's one of those things that makes me go apoplectic. You can't do that because the grease on your fingers attracts the dust that goes in the grooves. You can't. You've got to be very, very respectful. Tom says he's gone pop me mad. It's an age thing, Tom. Yeah, you've got to hold on to the edges and the middle. So my hands are big enough to be able to get my finger in the middle and then hold it by the thumb on the outside and then place it on the turntable. God, turntables. Is that an old-fashioned word, or is that a really, really, really cool word now? Aidan says, I do hope you haven't got red curtains to match those wallpapers, Adrian. No, golden, seemingly. And no, I'm not showing you, because you'll see all my accoutrement laid out on the bed for later. I am joking, of course. I am. No, I'm not. Rich, buy one of those Ron Comatic record cleaners. Oh, can you remember those? Those little plastic things where you just put the vinyl in with a bit of washing up liquid, and it just turned, and you could wash the grooves. Baby, baby, baby. Nothing better than having your groove washed. Tab Block Tracy, bet you say that to all the girls. Thumb in the middle. Who was the BBC presenter that did one in the pink, one in the... Yeah, that's a very famous audio clip. With vinyl, you must not get it in the groove, as Madonna said. Baby, that's the... Oh, Bovril. Mark Filcher. Evening. Sorry I'm late. Welcome, Mark. Rich, thumbs up for Len Fairclough. Very good. Very, very, very good. What do you mean, Adrian? What's you and Rich talking about? Can you not remember? Was it Peter Adamson, the actor from Coronation Street that played Len Fairclough? He was teaching kids how to play, how to swimming lessons, and he inserted, and that's why he was never heard of again. What's the Polish guy saying now? Chris Mundy, I always go for the brown if the red is blocking the pink. Me too. I mean, you want to see the size of my queue? Des Ashton, why is he going for the difficult brown when he could take the easy pink? Ray Reardon. Oh, just to keep it on topic, Ray Reardon died this week. Stretching for the brown. Do you remember Reader Digest? The plastic... Go on, give us a clue, Andy. Oh, yes, of course. Tom, yes, of course. Because the establishment will turn around and go, oi, you're wrongin'. What's that on there? Is that Battenberg, by any chance? Is that Battenberg marks? Yeah. My first record player was a dance set, a box on 4 legs, multi 7-inch singles. Oh, can you remember when you had the what's the... Can't remember the technical name for it, but basically you put it in the middle, and you could put all these 7 inches on, and they would drop one by one. And spindle, thank you very much, Rich, showing both of our ages there. So the spindle in the middle, stick the 7 inches on top, and you could leave it and just let it play. Thing is, though, the cool kids want to have albums now. Stuart says, I knew I could smell Battenberg. Yeah, that'll be it. But I don't think you could do the same with albums. I mean, as I say, vinyl, you've got to be very careful with it. And heat, vinyl doesn't like heat. Vinyl doesn't like all kinds of things. But I don't think they'll just drop albums down and let the... Because, you know, when the needle... The needle hit the record, the needle hit the record, the needle hit the record, and the jump beat goes like this. I think that's an 80s song. What's that from? Do you remember the records you cut out from cereal boxes? Blimey, Andrew. There were... Is that Pennine? Is that real 10-inch albums? I think I've got... Can you remember Girls' School and Motorhead? They did a single together, like late 70s, maybe 79, maybe 80. And I've got that on 10-inch. Alan says, stylus, you're wrongin'. Are we getting posh, Alan? It's just a needle, when the needle hit the record. I've got an Elizabethan record player. I can loan 9 7-inch singles. Mark Filcher, well, I say. That's a rather large collection of 7 inches. If you're 45 in 78, you were born in 33. In the field, that's very clever. On my hospital radio station, I used to please don't touch Nuki Brown. Oh, bottle of the dog. By the way, you know how they tell whether you're a Geordie or not from please don't touch Motorhead and Girls' School, says Tower Block Tracy. When you go into a pub and people go, oh, can I have a bottle of Newcastle Brown? They go, oh, bloody hell, foreigner. Or outsider. Right, we'll give him a kicking. But if you go in, you walk in and go, can I have a bottle of the dog? And somebody told me the story why it was called the dog. Bottle of the dog. You never go in and order Nuki Brown or Newcastle Brown, or it's always a bottle of the dog. Might be the hair of the dog for the following day. DJ with a foul disco decks. Andy Turner. Oh, I remember those. I think I worked in one nightclub with some foul disco decks. It was proper awful. Because they were belt driven. Team VD, I had an episode of Jerry Anderson Thunderbirds on a 7-inch EP. I bet that's worth a fortune now. First band I paid money to see was Girls' School. And you could have seen all of them, Tom. In the field, that was a marketing slogan for Stiff Records. What was? Hang on, you're moving too quick for me, man. Oh, I'm getting on a bit. Alan, Cobbs or Rolls? Weren't Cobbs kind of northwest Lancashire, and Rolls were a bit posh, possibly from Yorkshire. The Orborrel, I have the 12-inch disco version of Ring My Bell by Anita Ward. That was a tune and a half. My brother had Citronic Thames 2 Twin Decks Disco Dave Tower Block Tracy. Cool, I remember those as well. But the mobile discos back in the late 70s, early 80s used to do the foul disco decks and the foul lights where they were erect, sort of, and you had Citronic disco decks. Hang on, Super Ted. I know he's a regular, but he's late again. Sorry, I'm late again. I'm sat in the sun in Florida and lost track of time. Super Ted. I'm not in England either. Oh, it's been bloody warm today, man. Bloody. Well, I'm coming back tomorrow. Amalia Grassi, Cobbs in Birmingham. Were they Yorkshire or were they Birmingham? Baps, Annie Watt. Baps. Who did Baps? Is that further south? Because can I tell you, in the northeast, Stotty rules, man. Stotty cakes. Adrian, when you were in South Wales, you must have had Skull Attack, Happy 100th, Top Gun Les. Skull Attack. What was that? Top Gun Les? Oh, tea cakes in Halifax. Tea cakes? That's not bread rolls. Yes, Cobbs, muffins, and sadly growlers from Pennine. I love a good muffin. Right? There's nothing better except a Stotty cake. North Lincolnshire. Well, North Lincolnshire's almost Yorkshire. Nothing wrong with a couple of baps, especially if they're warm and in your hands, Tom. Yes, they were baps. So let's just get my head around this. So we've got baps in Lancashire. Personal trainer Mike, congratulations on the 100th live, Adrian. Thank you, personal trainer Mike. What's that? Breaking Olympic Committee banned Brazilian surfer from using his surfboards because they have the statue of Jesus on them. No, behave, Hayden. Really? Are the French stupid? I mean, like proper thick. Because, let's face it, when it comes to scrapping, the French are shite. Flowery baps in Hull. Gladiators legend John Anderson dies aged 92, or did he? Or did he just blow his whistle? Rich, I worked in Halifax. Baps were known as tea cakes, i.e. cheese and ham tea cake. Very strange. They are in Yorkshire, to be fair. Yeah, so stotty cake, size of a dinner plate. Stotty cakes. Stotties with ham and peas pudding. Oh, Mark, you're wrong. You're teasing me with that. Mind you, I met somebody last weekend, and he's from South Shields. South Shields, Amalia, correct. I think it's doing us all. Olympics are pissing me off now. I mean, I can't work out. Well, I can work out. I know what's going on. We have crumpets down south. Polar sky. Crumpets. I know what's going on with the French because they've got no backbone. They haven't. I mean, some of them are lovely. I've had French ex-girlfriends. Hold on, let me have that thought for 10 minutes. So but like World War II, everybody was walking around Paris and none of the French stopped them. That included Hitler. Bring back Nadia. What? Alan says, bring back Nadia. Nadia? Comaneci? Oh, yeah, she's very good. Tower Block Tracy, bread cakes, balm cakes, bin lids, bats, all the same thing, ain't they? Yeah, they get eaten. But stotties were, and none of this Greg's thinking they're cool, making stotty cakes. No, stotty cakes, well, my gonads are bigger than Greg's stotties. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? Stotties were meant to be the size of a dinner plate, and you could either cut it into half or quarters. And when I was, because I was a motor mechanic apprentice in my formative years, we used to have eating challenges. I've managed to get a 4-bar Kit Kat, not nowadays because they're tiny, but 4-bar Kit Kat in my mouth sideways. I remember eating a whole jar of pickled onions, including the vinegar. I wasn't well after that one. And then we had stotties with bacon and tomato. And I got, was it 8 or 9 of those in 1.5 hour session. Peter says the French national flag is pure white. Love a good cheese oat cake with brown sauce and pepper. Rich. Honestly, I start talking and it just kicks off. Pauline, Makepeace, it was Leicester de Montfort Hall, 1981, cost me £2.50. Who was that, Tom? Who did you go and see live? Hang on, Pauline, what's picklets? I've never heard that one before. Every day is a school day, but I've never heard that one before. So anyway, thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all very kind. It's the 100th live. Some people were saying, I know the people that support that. Hang on, I can get 4 bars of Kit Kat in, but not only in my mouth. Plenty of Chablis left in the font. Oh, I say, right. We've still got slices left, and we've got some Chablis in the font. If you need ducking. Retro, do they still make wagon wheels? Wagon wheels. Oh, yeah, but they're not wagon wheels, because wagon wheels, they're not wagon wheels. They're more like 10p pieces. Yeah. Mike's Alligators. Adrian, was the phone in you insinuated? We have been working our butts off in the background. Claire says happy 100. Thank you, Claire. And we are almost there. We're about to sign contracts, and penguins. Oh, pick up a penguin. Bring back the Texan bar. I'm with you in the field. And Rich says pikelets are thick pancakes with currants or sultanas. Oh, you bet your sweet bippy, says Aidan. I'm fancying that. So, yeah, it's such a shame, Retro, that Cabana Bars, bloody hell, Tablock Tracy. And, oh, Andy, Caramac. They're bringing Caramac back, seemingly. I was going to do a piece on one of the lives, but I forgot all about it. Bring back the marathon, yeah. So Caramac bars are coming back. And some people watching this may go, what's a Caramac bar? It's like caramel, but stiff, if you catch me drift. But Caramac bars were all the rage, well, once upon a time. Somebody talked about... Tom High says, I'll risk it for a Swisskit. No, I'll risk it for a biscuit. Hang on a second, let me just have a gobful of this. Oh, I say, I forgot. There's a fridge here with loads of stuff in it. Hang on. From the tray. Happy 100th, Adrian. You're doing a great job. What's with the question mark, you wrong'un? Hang on a second. I'll be all right with that one. Andy Turner says, like in that room you're in. I know, don't knock it, man. I walked into reception. They obviously thought, oh, I say, that's 15 quid from the minibar, Adrian. Yeah, exactly. Tax allowable, Rich. Mark Filcher, Boost bars. Oh. And now I don't want this to turn into a kind of a BBC phone-in where they go, what was your favourite chocolate bar when you were a child? That's about their level. Not here. Sherbet Dib Dabs. Retro says, was there a gin in that tonic? It was a bit strong, to be fair, Retro. From the chair, sorry, blame AI. I was using voice control. Oh, I say, nothing better than a little control. From the chair. You're all making me laugh tonight, which is kicking me cough off. I managed to say that and enunciate it without getting it wrong. Hayden says, great 100th, Adrian. Congratulations. should be 100 gun salute. Blimey, are you going to put me up against the wall? And or should we be presenting you with 100 Battenbergs? Well, let me tell you, one of the things we were working at in the background, and I'm waiting for Mr. Kipling to get back to me, was we were going to do, and maybe we can do this in the next week or so, because I'm going off for a couple of weeks for a little 10-day jaunt with the new Lioness Sleeps No More Theatre of the Mind. Congratulations on the 100th live. Keep up the good work. Loving the content. Thank you very much. You're very kind, Lioness Sleeps No More. So I'm off somewhere hot for 10 days because I haven't had a holiday since January. Although it might feel... This is getting ridiculous. Let me tell you about going to see... So, the state of the NHS will start with that. And then we'll get into law and order. Hang on a second. Do you mind if I just look in this... Can I have a look and see what's in it? Oh, hello. There's things in the fridge. Hang on. Oh, clink, 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 clink. Lager. Lager. Hang on a second. Oh, what's that? Pret. Oh, hang on. Oi. I'm trying to find the alcohol. Well, that's a bit... Well, there's champagne in there. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Drink that on my own. I need some sparkling. That's what I need. Sorry, I'm doing the housework. You notice, the minute I go into the fridge thinking I'm going to get some alcohol, the cough stops. Anyway, where were we? Yes, so rang the doctors and went, "Oi, wrong one. I need to see a doctor. What for?" Let's guess where Adrian is. Poland. No, Alan. Des says, put that bottle of SMP back in the fridge. Oh, hang on. Amalia Grassi says, I'm sending you a freaking strong oregano tea down the line. Thank you, Amalia. So anyway, so I ring them up and go, "Oh, wrong one. I want to see the doctor." And they said, "What for?" I said, "'Cause I'm ill." And they said, "That's not good enough." I said, "What do you mean? I can't see the doctor because I'm ill." And they went, "So what's wrong with you?" I said, "Hang on a second. What would I need a doctor for if I could work out what was wrong with me?" Silence down the other end. And I thought, well, I better back off because the doctor's surgery receptionists are not known for their sense of humour. So, and thank you, Rich, by the way. And I said, "Oh, I've got a bit of a cough." "You've got a cough? Have you tried TCP?" "No." "Well, drink it. It's not got much alcohol in it. I prefer beer." So I said, "Oh, all right then. Yeah, I've had the cough for a couple of weeks. Can I see someone?" "Oh, what we do now at the surgery is, unless it's imperative." I thought, bloody hell, what kind of a doctor's surgery uses the word imperative? Anyway, unless it's imperative, we'll let you see a senior paramedic. And I said, "How old's the paramedic?" She didn't get it. "I'll wait for you." And I said, "So does this paramedic only see seniors?" Hayden says, I agree completely. Doctors' receptionists think they have medical qualifications asking you what's wrong. My answer, none of your business. I agree with you. Completely agree with you, Hayden. In the field, Tom's cat's piss. I've been in some bars that served that by the pint back in the day. Mark Felcher, a finger of fudge is just enough for Tower Block Tracy. I think you'll find one finger's never enough for Tower Block Tracy. Team BD, you have to plan 3 weeks in advance to be ill. I agree. Anyway, so I go down to the doctor's surgery a couple of days later, and I said, "I'm here to see the senior paramedic." "How old is he?" 60. She looks at me as if I'm like, "Oh, who's this daft lad?" So I went in to see them. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Oh, look, you know, if I knew what was wrong with me, I wouldn't be here, would I? I'd have self-diagnosed and I'd be down to the pharmacy." And it was fine. He wasn't 60-year-old. bloody 110. And he said, oh, we'll give you some antibiotics. Oh, you've got a bit of crackling on your lung. So what do you think I am, a pig? And he said, I'll give you 5 days, and if it doesn't go away. So I've taken 2 days worth, and I thought, oh, brilliant. I'll be able to go on the live tonight, and it'll be fine. So I've still got 3 days to go. So I'll tell you on Wednesday whether it worked or not, and whether the oregano tea from Amalia worked, and all the vitamins and stuff. Doctor, I feel like a pair of curtains. Why don't you pull yourself together? Tablet Tracy. Teflon Guan. Adrian, back to chocolate. Remember bar 6 and icebreaker. Can you remember icebreaker? And bar 6. What would have been my favourite? Here's one for you. What was the chocolate? Was it not Captain Morgan's? What was the chocolate bar that had rum in it? What was that? It wasn't Captain Morgan. Can't remember the name of it, but it was a chocolate bar that had rum in it. Old Jamaica, Bad Wolf Project. Blimey, you pulled that one from the dark recesses of your mind. Yeah, Old Jamaica. Can't get it now. Can't get it. Although my dad, Merchant Seaman, and Retro will know this, Merchant Seaman still get... what's that? Rich, they're making them again, £1 in B&M. What? Old Jamaica? Are they? Honestly, that'll set me type 2 diabetes off. Yeah, you can get it. Whoa. I mean, I did get... Can you remember Horlicks tablets? And honestly, I've prepared all this serious stuff, but because it's the final Sunday of the month, we're doing Ask Adrian Anything, and we can talk about absolutely anything. But some of the stuff we're going to talk about... I'm going to give you some insight. I've been talking to some friends who were in the job, and I'm going to give you some insight as to exactly what would have happened at Manchester Airport. Absolutely. Toga 69, Cabana Bar. Honestly, you're going to kill me. So they're all in B&M bargains, are they? Aztec bars, loved them. Aztec, loved Icebreaker. Was it like really minty or something, the Icebreaker? Can't remember that. I just remember the texture. Cough candy, winter nips. Yeah, I wouldn't mind some winter nips, even if it's in January. Trio, can you remember the advert? Trio, Lion Bar, Texan bars. Used to love Horlicks tablets, a great chew. Now, so for easily since last summer, there's been this, you can get Horlicks tablets, and I don't know whether you know Horlicks, the multi-drink that you could have before you went to bed and it would help you sleep. Chew garlic, clear the lungs. I won't get a kiss though, exactly that. Icebreaker, says Amalia. Forgot all about that. Milk tray bars with the lime barrel in it. Kathy Harper. When was the last time you had one of those? Must be decades. Yorkie bar, Des Ashton, Spangles. There's a gag in there somewhere. I remember Texas Tom from the Texas DIY shop. Andrew, did you get arrested for it? Team VD, Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. I've met some of those. They're mostly American. And Fry's Chocolate Delight. No, Fry's Turkish Delight. Oh. I mean, they got Milky Bars are on me. Brilliant. Napoleon blown apart. Do they still sell them? Fry's Turkish Delight, full of Eastern promise. There's definitely a gag in there, but I can't think about it. Can't think of it quick enough. So all the... I'm off down to B&M Bargains on Tuesday morning with a wheelbarrow, because it seems they've got all the best chocolate bars in there on Amazon. Did you really, Napoleon blown apart? The Turkish Delight advert was the best Choco advert, Leah. Yeah, that's some woman dancing, didn't they? Some Turkish woman dancing. Blue Riband. Yeah, liked it as a biscuit, not as a chocolate bar though. Pacers, the mint version of Opal Fruits. Oh, haven't seen them for bloody donkey's years. Andy Turner, J.R. Hartley. Have you got his book? Fly fishing. Mint cracknel. Oh yes, Keith James. Love, 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 love. And a flake. Who loves a flake? Hang on, we'll wait for Tower Block Tracy. Amalia Grassy. I'm 59 years young, but it's getting so that I forget now. I'm feeling your pain, Amalia. You've seen these lives? So what I've walked into the room and I've gone, right, what was I about to say to everybody? And I can't remember, so I'll walk back out again and make a second entrance. Nothing better than a second entrance. Sweet monkey nuts, clock of 69. Oh, what was those? Hang on a second. What was those boxes of stuff that you would get? Was it sweet popcorn? It was something that, like the Top 69's just mentioned, and but you also get toys in it, and was it Cracker Jack? Am I too old? Cracker Jack, remember that? In the field. Will Busby be the sponsor for your phone in, Adrian? I was trying to get Kipling's cakes. Kinder Egg. Not Kinder Egg. Banjo! That was it. Banjo. Bloody hell, David. Brilliant. Jamboree bag. Yeah, lucky bag. Lucky bag. That's my standard line for anyone that's a bit of an arse when they're driving. Where'd you get your license from? A bloody lucky bag. And then they look at me as if to go, what you just said? So there's coconut shredded tobacco. Kathy. Yeah, when we were kids, we're eating tobacco. Are you really? No. It says so on the tin, though. On the packet, rather. Chew garlic, clear the lungs. Exactly that. Thank you. Oh, well, I will do. But as I say, I won't get many kisses. Oh yes, Mint Matchmakers retro on his bikes. I'm an orange man. Orange Matchmakers. Oh. Do you know which other ones? It's not like a chocolate bar, but Thornton's chocolates. And are they still on the high street now? Yeah, get into it, moderator. It was a apricot parfait. Hang on, Andrew James says, anyone remember Fizzy Jerks? Oh, you pervert, round the back of the bike sheds. You can get arrested for that nowadays. Rich, sherbet dip, bag of golden nuggets, bubble gum. You see, can you remember those tattoo things that you could buy and you just like licked them, stuck them on? I went home, I was covered in them one day. Don't know where I got the money from. And my dad said to me, what's that? It's only tattoos. Knock me into the middle of next week. Thorntons are online now. Apricot parfait. I mean, I'd keel over with a heart attack or a stroke. Mind you, at this time of life, I wish I could have a stroke. Popeye bubble gum. Yeah, oh, Popeye. Anyway, all wonderful and brilliant. You can ask anything you want to. Like, Thornton toffee slab came with a little hammer. Size queen. Newkie Brown Woolworth sweet counter. Now, it doesn't get much better. Have you seen some of these cinemas that are trying to replicate Woolworth sweet counter, where you could literally go in with a haversack and fill your haversack full of the best sweets in the world ever? Nobody believes me that they actually had red tips on them. What, the sweet cigarettes? Edinburgh Rock has just had some instead of Battenberg. Mark. Toffee crisp. Yeah, David. Yeah. Not a bad one. I was going to say, did you say Blueberry Band earlier? It's a biscuit rather than a chocolate bar. And they go too quick. You kind of put them in your mouth and they dissolve and you think, oh, hang on a second. Oh, wait, man. I was hoping to enjoy that for at least 5 minutes. Wham bars. George Michael gag in there somewhere. Do you know, have I told you my favourite George Michael gag? I must have done. Fries 5 Senders. Bad Wolf Project. Dentine. No, Dentines. No, that wasn't a chocolate bar. That was for your teeth. What did George Michael and a Wellington boot have in common? They both get sucked off in bogs. You see, I was trying to be clever. Space dust. That's what James Brown was off his tits on when he crashed his car. Space dust, or whatever it was, but they called it space dust. Anyway, thank you for all of that. Nobody wants the pink wafer. I'd prefer the pink wafer to the brown one. Lemon and orange slices at Christmas. Oh, Amalia, definitely. Hayden, I remember Trio bars. Wasn't it the Trio? Wasn't that the advert? Blackjacks and fruit salads. Oh, Les, it would have to be. Oh, is it blackjacks or fruit salads? Right, let's find out. Let's have a quick question. I have got some more questions for you tonight. Quick question. 1 for blackjacks, 2 for fruit salad. What was the best? 1 for blackjacks or 2? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, 1 for blackjacks and 2 for... Oh, you're all fruit salad perverts. Oh, no, we've got a couple of ones going in. Blackjacks were fabulous. Anybody remember, is it ruffle bars or truffle bars? Ruffle bars. With raspberry coconut. Not that you distracted me, and not that I've spent ages talking about things that I really shouldn't eat, otherwise I'll keel over. I used to stick a fruit salad to a blackjack and eat them at the same time. Oh, wiggy videos, you pervert. But then again, it's like, if we eat the sweets that we had when we were kids, now, either our gobs are too big or the sweets have shrunk. Is it shrinkflation? Opal fruits made to make your mouth water. That'll be Kamala Harris then. Everyone's a fruit and nut. Oh, everyone's a fruit and nutcase. Who wasn't it? Terry Curly Whirlies. Hands up, Curly Whirlies. And it was Terry. What's his face that did the advert as the schoolboy? What about Mojo's? Oh yeah, what about Mojo's? See, I've got your level tonight. Who can remember the original Vesta Chow Mein home meal pack? Yeah, I bet it tasted like... Well, comparatively, at the time, it was like, oh, I say, have you got a microwave? Can you make this meal at home? And now you'd go, oh, couldn't touch that. Tastes like cardboard. I loved Mojo's choc flavour. Super Ted, Thomas Watt, and Andrew James Toffo, the Milky Bar Kid. Have you seen him now? Bald. So after that little bit of fun and frivolity, Curly Whirlies, the best, my dad's favourite. Oh, that was 6 inches. So Curly Whirlies must have been at least 1.5 foot long. And you could just take ages over it. It was like the Toffos, but in a bar. And you could take ages with a Curly Whirly. Oh, my word. Hang on, what's going on here? Blackjacks. Can I say that? Oh, I just did. Yeah, exactly that. Of course you can. Terry. Wow, Terry. Yeah, Molly said she's just put on 2 stone. I agree with you. Ovaltine tablets. Hated them. You should have done... do you know, I've just been talking about them. Scott? What? Scott? Oh, Terry Scott. Thank you very much. Honestly, my brain's completely shot this evening. It's because I'm sitting in aircon and it's freezing. Proper. I don't walk out of the room because it's like 40 degrees out there, middle of the night, and I don't want to... But actually, is that AI generated? I was just winding you up. No, I'm being straight up and down. Nothing better than being up and down. Cadbury Fuse Bar. Have you noticed how I've eaten all of these? What a fat lad. Fruit polos always stuck together. Rich, with what? That's the question. Angel Delight pudding mix. Oh, banana Angel Delight pudding mix. That's Butlins in Minefield looking very nice. AA. Bad Wolf Project. No, it's not Butlins in Minehead. Southport. Smith's Crisps with... Oh... hang on, what were they called? Salt and Shake. They had the little blue bag, and you got the crisps, and then you... What were we thinking? We literally... Frank Muir sang the fruit and nut advert. Did he? What were we thinking with a bag of not shake and vac? Midlands Counties banana lollies. Ooh, chicken vol au vent. Amalia, where are you going? You randomly just walking off onto a completely different direction. Chocolate bars, man. Flying saucers. Oh, dear Lord. All those E numbers. Can you remember? Literally, I was off my tits eating space dust. Flying saucers. Because you get the wafer thin outer, and then you'd hit the sherbet in the middle of it. It'd be like, poof. Right, I'm running around. All unnecessary. Chocolate banana. Veal bovril, what on earth are you doing while I'm on this live? Coconut tobacco, shake and salt. You decide if you want the salt or not. It's you. Hang on. Marley says it's you lot. I want to eat everything. Step back from the sweet counter, Amalia. Leah, why did they switch the colours for salt and vinegar and cheese and onion? I always associate salt and vinegar with the colour blue. Yeah. Let's save crisps for Wednesday, because I do have a bugbear, a proper bugbear. Whatever happened to tomato crisps? Oh, American cream soda, Lauren, and a hard Spanish. American cream soda and a hard Spanish. Have you been in one of these rooms before, Lauren? Fudge cubes are amazing. Can you imagine going to a day's work? Oh, so what do? I work in a sweet factory. Do you? And I'm saying this because I've had somebody on a late night phoning when I was in the Northwest on Sentry who did this very job. And I said, oh, you work in a sweet factory? Yeah. I work in the fudge department. And I was like, no, stop it. And he was like, yeah. I work there. I just, we used to assemble all the boxes. I said, hang on a second. You're on here telling me that you're a fudge packer. Correct. He didn't get the gag. Tomato ketchup crisps were great with your videos. I'm with you. There's people walking around outside in the establishment. Obviously, pickled onion, Monster Munch, Hayden. Corona Pop. Aye. It's a licorice stick. A hard one. I'm sure it is, Lauren. There's people walking around, and I'm like, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking ostensibly to myself. And they're walking around going, here, what's that bloke in that room, in that shooting that porn video? Golden Wonder sausage and tomato still on sale. Is it Pennine? But you can't get tomato ketchup crisps. I mean, tomato ketchup crisps were so good that you could suck them for ages. Not that you could crunch them, but I used to suck them for ages. On which note, Pauline Makepeace says, Tina, I always took the salt out. Yeah. Why would you put a little blue bag in the salt and shake and do the work that somebody in a factory could have done? I remember tomato and sausage flavoured crisps back in the early 70s, said Wiggy Videos. Tomato sauce crisps. Ocado. A woken work. Sorry. That's my eyesight. Shocking. A woken world. Hedgehog flavoured crisps. Oh, bother. I bet they weren't hedgehogs. I bet they weren't proper, full-on hedgehogs. Des Ashton says, back when I was a nipper, there was only Smith's crisps with the little blue salt packet. You felt like you'd won the lottery if you found a second salt pack. Yeah, there is that. Have you ever bought a 4-bar Kit Kat and it's been all the chocolate and there's been no, wafer in the middle of it? That's you feeling like you'd won the lottery. So, stop. Hang on a second, I just need to... have you noticed how the cough stopped? Well, the minute I went into the fridge. What's that all about? Maybe that senior bloke. Beer crisps in pubs were nice. What about... did you ever go to workmen's clubs and hang on, somebody's talking about one finger. I hope it's not Tower Block Tracy. Hang on. United Biscuit bars. They were proper. Teflon Guan. I bet they were. Did you have in your workmen's club or local pub pork scratchings? And some of them would bring fish things and eggs. Blue Ribbon, chocolate covered wafer bar. Des Ashton, I'm with you on that one. Ghost Chip IPA crisps are the dog's bollocks, Andrew James. Really. Oh, that's better. Wish it was bloody alcohol. Not that I drink much, you understand. Pork scratchings, a class. A Rockheader. Bovril crisps, love them. Pork scratchings with hair still on in the field. I know, bit brutal, but at least the pig gave up its life for a decent reason. Tudor tomato ketchup crisps, fabulous, Robert Taylor. Guinness flavoured crisps. Oh, don't, you're wrong, and I'll never come out of the house, Pauline. Never fancied tasting the dog's bollocks. No, a bit of a mouthful, Des, so I'm told. What was that? What was that? I can see her. What was that woman that David Beckham had his wicked way with, and she went off to give a pig a five-finger shuffle on TV? Hanky panky. No, she's married with her own kids now. Baked bean flavoured crisps. Just have the baked beans, the old Bovril. Rebecca Lewis, Hayden, well done. You're a lot sharper than me tonight. Rebecca Lewis giving a pig a five-finger shuffle on TV. They never brought that back. Was it called The Farm or something? Why is there not peanut butter crisps? Can you imagine something on a peanut butter crisp? It would just, your tongue would just be stuck to the roof of your mouth. Pigs in blanket crisps. Ooh, never heard of them. Have them at Christmas though. So let us get into Law and Order. Because I've kind of got your measures tonight. You just want to talk about chocolate bars. Law and Order. It's... So the Tories, this is what Marley says, I really want some meat now. Add your own gags. Marley, you've set yourself up. Too much of a gentleman to take on advantage. Scampi fries. Class. Oh, yeah. I haven't had scampi for ages. So if... I know that the little joggy, rich boy... hang on, Viv and Darlo, laugh out loud. Me too, Amalia. Oh, the girls are all at it tonight. They're wanting some meat. What can I say? Must be something in the altar wine. I think it's the Chablis that Tablock Tracy put in the altar. You've obviously been sniffing it. Anyone for a tomato sausage in the field? Whatever gets you through the night. You can get arrested for it though. So the Tories are kind of were the party of law and order, and then we had. I wrote some notes earlier. We had Tony Charles Lyndon Blair. Hang on, Hayden says no cocktail sausages. You can have meat, but no cocktails. Beef. Oh, enemy of the state. You utter wrong'un. I knew somebody would. I was thinking about this the other day with a stotty. Enemy of the state says beef dripping butty. Oh, my mum, when she was making Sunday lunch, she would shout me down, Adrian, and she would go, do you want some beef dripping? So stotty cut in half like that way, and then dipped in the beef dripping. Oh dear Lord, I'm getting all unnecessary thinking about that. Fat and bread. It was, Viv, it was, but it was beef dripping. It didn't do us any harm. Pork dripping is better, according to Top of 69. Any kind of dripping would do me. I'm going to have a burger now. We've ruined you, Amalia. We have literally ruined you. Des Ashton, quality dripping on toast. Oh my. Hayden says, trouble is, you can't even get enough dripping off the roast these days. I know. Oh, that's what I was going to say to you earlier. So I met this guy last weekend, and he's from South Shields, which is kind of the buffer zone between Sunderland and Newcastle. And Blazer's boiling. You're about half an hour too late. Lovely beef dripping. Eating fat is not bad for you. I know it's not. I love it. So this guy I was talking to, and he's originally from South Shields, and he said... hang on, Retro's taking the mickey. You could afford beef? No, I thieved it. Only joking, I never got caught. Hang on, 206 bones in the human body. Would you like 207? That's what he said, exactly that. Who said that to who? Yeah, mucky tart. So he said to me, he said, oh, can you remember? I mean, we've been talking about chocolate bars and stuff tonight. South Shields, I think Kevin Phillips used to manage their football team, correct? They beat Grimsby. Where are you? They beat Grimsby recently in pre-season. Is it not Julio Arca, the ex-Sunderland player, that's managing them now? I mean, Kevin Phillips, black pudding. Honestly, if I go out and say, have you got any black pudding? They look at me as if I'm like, pervert, what are you going to do with that? Well, don't slice it. I'm not a bloody jukebox. Black pudding. So we were just kind of talking about our youth, because he used to go to the nightclub that I used to DJ in South Shields, and we were just kind of talking, and he said, can you remember a Savaloy dip? Now, that may have been extraordinarily unique to the northeast. Or polony. Oh, yeah, you don't get that. It's kind of like a German sausage. Oh, there's the gags opened for you. Black pudding Bertha. Don't just ask to watch to see them make black pudding. Oh, it's just blood. Ox's blood. I've spilled plenty of my own, so that wouldn't put me off. But Savaloy dip was like a little bap, a rule. Stornoway is the only place for black pudding. Agreed, retro. I've had Stornoway black pudding when I was living in Scotland. Oh, it is. And do you know there is a delicacy in Scotland called lawn sausage. So you could have your sausage square. Has anybody still got a George Foreman grill? Who said that? Andrew Jones, I think it was. Because he made more money from the George Foreman grill than he did from fighting. Are they still going? I used to think haggis was an animal. Oh, Leah, surely not. Fish finger butty. Oh, that's food porn. That is definitely food porn. But I used to. So the Savaloy dip, it was a Savaloy, which is it's a sausage. But you'd split the sausage down the middle, and then you'd get peace pudding on the bottom, and then you'd get the Savaloy, and then you'd have the top of the bun dipped. Oh, honestly, proper food porn. Proper. I could I'd be scared to even eat one, because you have one. Retro, stop that, you're wrong. Haggis is an animal. Depends from which part of Scotland, because some haggises, was it haggai, is better than others. But the Savaloy dip, I promise you, if you ever have one, they're amazing. So anyway, let's get to Law and Order. So the Tory party were the party of law and order, and then Tony Blair came out. Can you remember his line? Tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime. And nothing happened. So I think it was Tony Blair that kind of killed off the political process. And spaghetti grows on trees. Brilliant. True fact, Hulk Hogan turned down the endorsement food grills, so George Foreman was asked, and he's made millions. Was it really Hulk Hogan? I mean, he's promoting Donald Trump, and I mean, Donald, pub in Liverpool did hot beef rolls, dipped the bun in dripping if you asked. Pay extra. Donald Trump is kind of losing his way at the moment, the last week or so, since the Hulk Hogan decided to rip his shirt off, as in Hulk Hogan shirt, not obviously 45s. Heinz sandwich spread. Yeah, you were classy if you had a Heinz sandwich spread on my housing estate. But I want to get to Law and Order, because I want to give you this insight. So Manchester Airport, it's been possibly the main story of the week, unless Netanyahu has been in front of Congress again, no doubt asking for money so they can escalate the war in the Middle East. Hang on, somebody upstairs shagging. By the half hour. And so you've got Netanyahu begging for more money. You've got the opening of the Paris Olympics, which we will comment on in just a while. But I want to talk about this Manchester Airport debacle. Because, and I'm posting a lot of these videos on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. It's at Adrian Allen. So follow me, and I'm a lot more active on X than I am here. And we got the video, the clip of the video, which was, it was all kicking off. And I could tell by, some of the stuff that I was told by people that know what's what, that that wasn't everything. It absolutely wasn't everything. And I looked at it, and my instinct told me that there was more to this than we were seeing. And then the rumours started coming out that there was 10 youths scrapping with cops. And then we got other bits of the video, and There was a guy in a red top, there was a guy in a blue top, there was another guy who was sitting on the bench when it all kicked off. Alan says they never showed what led to it. Correct. And then you've got all these gimps coming out going, right, I'm representing. And it was kind of that moral indignation. They were stoking the fires. So you've got the Muslim community in Rochdale kicking off big time. You've got the police not really saying anything. You've got the politicians who daren't say anything. And they still daren't say anything. They're absolutely scared witless. The Scots have a very good word for this. It's called feardy. You're just frightened of your own shadow. Feardy. And the 650 feardies in the Pink Palace. Nobody was coming out. And as far as I'm concerned, the video came out and it was inciting stuff. There were people in videos and mainstream media inciting. Now that's against the law. So why haven't the police arrested these people for incitement? It's law of the land. Rich says, and I'm going to agree to a certain extent, Rich, to be fair, on day one, Andy Burnham stated there was much more to what had been released. I agree. He'll have been into GMP. But what I want to do is I want to give you layers of what would have happened in the background. Because I've spoken to some of my friends who are serving officers. And one of my friends used to work in a control room. He's now one of those chaps on the motorway network that is a traffic warden or something. Anyway, so we got the video of the before incident. And as far as I'm concerned, the politicians are stuffed. However, Sakia, let's come out, not out, just out. Yeah, he's a womble. Why don't you come out and say this is unacceptable? Because they daren't. They daren't. Remember him, Angela Rayner and Starmer and the others kowtowing to the Muslim community. What were they doing? Begging, can we have your votes? Can we count on your votes? Lee Anderson and Richard Tice told it how it was. And they've been proven correct. It was that Les Vogel. They've been proven correct. So, today's Sunday. This is my usual live and time. And have you noticed how eerily silent the Muslim community are? Alan says, remember Leeds last week? They are frightened of riots. Vetted Cooper should foxtrot Oscar too. I agree with you. Top of 69. She's got to go. She absolutely, categorically has to go. But I'm going to ask some questions now. And so I'm going to give you background information that you wouldn't know. So I saw the first video, and then I saw the other videos, and then I saw this final video. And when I saw the first video, my first question to me, because obviously I sit there and talk to myself all day, was, why? Because we were told that there was a proper kick-off, 10 youths against coppers. Why? Because, and Alan says, and yet they arrest Tommy? Pathetic. As Kathy Harper says, we need to get a grip on all of this important behaviour. I agree with you, but all we've got to do, and I'm going to explain this in what I'm about to do now, all we have to do is put them to the process of law. This is not opinions. This is not, well, I'm a politician and I've got to count on everybody's votes. No, we just have to process them by law of the land. But I'll get back to my question. My initial question was why? Why is this kicking off? Because they were affronted to an elderly Muslim female. They wanted a search. And so, okay, I get that as a reasonable man. I get that. An elderly woman, there's got to be some dignity. But then, Aidan, they want to make it about racism. They already have. Oh, I've got a cyst on my head. Yeah, he kicked this. I've got a cyst on my head. show us the evidence. Because in a court of law, that's what you've got to do. And I don't know whether yet they are going to be subjected to the process of law. But if they are, at any point, the judge and or the court for the prosecution can say, can we have your doctor's notes? Can we have, you said via your mouthpiece that you had a cyst on the brain. And then the day after, oh my God, he's in hospital. Oh my God, he's going to die. Hang on, he's standing next to him. Oh yeah, we're going to take him in after we've done this. We're going to take him in. Hadaway and shite, man. Hadaway and shite. Top of 69 says apparently there was an attribution on a flight and fighting in a coffee shop. The search thing, I don't think she surely would have been searched outbound flight 2. Well, not necessarily. If you're going through customs, you've got nothing to declare. You don't have to declare. If you've got nothing to declare, you don't have to declare. So why would they search you? But they flew in from Pakistan. And what is Pakistan known for in the recreational trade? Opium, cannabis, amphetamines. Habeas corpus. Which point, Hayden? The body of the law? So I immediately went to why. Why did those men not want that elderly female searched? So you know what that means, don't you? That you can mule females out of Pakistan and mule them back. Now, I'm not suggesting this is the case. I'm just thinking this through on many different levels. So, what was she wearing? It's gone now. But me, I'd have a drugs dog in their house. PDQ. I'd have a drugs dog all over each of those individuals. Give me your clothes and see if the dog indicated anything. Yeah, they went apeshit and she went home. Now, if you look at this video that's just been released, you can see that it's actually, if it is one of her, a member of her family, it's a member of her family that pushes her over. So my first question, what were they hiding? All of them. What were they hiding? Now, the boy in blue was a bit tasty. The boy in blue is a bit of a fighter, bit of a scrapper. Lauren Taylor says, hang on, I'm an elderly female and I've been searched. I'm also a retired GMP police officer. No bloody excuses. I agree, Lauren. I agree. So what I'm about to say, you will hopefully corroborate. So I said, why? Why did this all kick off? What is it that I'm watching and why did it all kick off? And then I asked myself, why such a violent reaction? Because the boy in blue, he's assaulted 3 police officers. So it will go to court as assault emergency worker ×3. He broke the nose of one cop, which is GBH. He's done ABH to another female cop. And the male cop, he ran in and attacked him from the back of the head. Because the male cop was trying to deal with whatever family member it was, the big fat lad, who suddenly became very contritious when he knew that the shit had really kicked off. But the boy in blue, he was at it. And you can't, that's not, look, if it's a square go, you get up, hands up, square go. Hopefully both of you will stand and go into the pub and have a beer together. Kathy Hartman said, I thought it all started on the plane and then kicked off again in the airport. Resisting arrest, GBH, ABH, throw the ruddy bucket, says Alan. I agree. But as I go through the layers of the questions that I was asking myself when I was watching these videos. So why such a violent reaction? Because that's what it was. If they were fighting on the plane, what were they fighting on the plane about? And you know how planes are now. Everybody's got a phone. Looked like it wasn't his first fist fight. I agree, Sunflower. I agree. That's what I was saying. The boy looked a bit tasty. So my next question would be, if they are that talented, are they known? to police. So, Lauren, I hope you agree with me. There should be checks being done on their systems. Now, from my sources, there are systems within systems. And the police will know. If they're from their area, the local bobbies will know. The local bobbies will know the family, and they'll know. I can't repeat that, Alan, but I agree with you. Simply because I'll get to what's going on at the moment, so I need to be very careful. They won't even be charged, can guarantee it. Well, I will give you the latest update that's come out a few hours ago. And if I was looking into this, because this is a serious assault. Somebody's had their nose broken, especially a copper, that's a serious assault. And if it's a serious assault, CID are involved. So is there any previous intel on these clowns? And have they been charged previously? Has it been an NFA, no further action? So I'm going to give you an insight into what would have happened. My sources have to remain private. They're not all going to get off, Andy. They're not. They're not. Because I will guarantee you this. The cops had their nose broken. The cops won't be happy. So GMP have to make sure that they do the right thing by their officers. Because if the officers think that they're going to go out there, and this happens day in, day out on every shift, you almost guaranteed on GMP that you're going to be rolling around with some scrote on the floor. And cops, look, you know, as much as some people like them, some people don't. I kind of get all that. How many years do you get for assaulting a police officer? Depends if it's GBH, ABH. But you can, but they can't refute this video. They absolutely categorically can't, because the whole country is apoplectic with rage. The whole country is, this has got to stop. This has got to stop. We had Leeds kicking off the week before, and officers have had to return those kids. But they're saying that the kids were in danger. I mean, but it's very easy to use the police as the whipping boys. Or whipping persons, if you want to be 2024. Lauren says, yes, the problem is they've been allowed to get away with murder for years and years. One of the brothers is a plod. Well, not the ones that were there. I'll get to that in a second. Scared to go to work? Give me a break. No, because a cop's a cop. He'll have gone on shift, and if he said, oh, I didn't feel safe. Had a weird shite, man. A GMP cop is getting a bit lily-livered and namby-pamby pinko liberal because he's worried about going into work. Yeah, well, one of your oppos, one of your colleagues, has just had their nose broken. And these are firearms officers. And firearms officers, you don't mess about with them. They are absolutely ice cold. And I can guarantee you the reason why that male cop went in was A, he had his taser drawn and had told the scroats that his taser was drawn. And he was fighting with one guy whilst the boy in blue came behind him, the back of the head. Now, we don't know whether that boy tried to get the gun off him. Andy Turner, clever point. They'll play the mental health card. They won't be allowed to. Won't be allowed to. So how this would have unfolded, and you won't be told this, you won't see this, but the cops all have radios. And if you watch Line of Duty, you'll know that they have status codes, and it's normally the Met love them, but you kind of, they're in the public domain now. Let's have a think. State 2 is back on duty. State 4 is refs. State 6 finishing duty, I think. I can't remember, it's all from Line of Duty. But those cops have radios. And on that radio, they have an emergency button. Tablock Tracy. The cops also have body cams. Why has that footage not been released yet? Because I think there's going to be a legal case. That's why I know Code Zero, Code Brown. That's why they're keeping their powder dry. As Mark Filcher says, yeah, if there's nothing to hide, no need to kick off. So the cops will have been on duty. If it's been kicking off, then the cops have been asked to go and sort something out. And invariably, when they turn up, they don't know what they're going to deal with. But they have an emergency button. Panic emergency button, I think is the term. So somebody, one or more, a good lawyer will get them off or reduced. Not sure, Andy. This has got a national focus. Everybody's looking at this. And if they don't do the right thing, then there's every chance that the country is just going to rise up. We've had enough. Enough is enough. There are certain communities within our sceptred isle that get better treatment because of maybe their skin tone, maybe their sexual orientation, maybe this, that, and the other. The body cams are evidence for the inquiry. The police inquiry, yes, but there's also a criminal inquiry going on, which is why I wouldn't be fully convinced that anybody is getting off with anything. Now, we'll deal with the two things together, but I want to tell you what would happen. So that emergency button is there because it's a bit like the old cop's whistle. If a whistle went off, say in the peelers back in the day, early cops, or a cop was in trouble, was like 4 or 5 big burly blokes had just decided they were going to... the copper who put the boot in was the firearms officer. Oh yes. So cops are trained to a specific level, and I've spoken to both firearms officers and officers who are taser trained. So cops will go in 2 years probationary, and then they can decide which bit of policing they want to go into, which is a very simplistic way of looking at it. But you then have cops that they do their driving, and if they don't pass their driving test, police driving tests, which are much more stringent than like you or I taking a driving test out on the street, they then do the blues, the emergency driving. And again, if I get any of this wrong, I apologize. There's a whole load of information here that I just want to relate to you so you get a better context and understanding as to what went on. So cops will do their basic driving, then they'll do their blues and twos driving, where they can drive at high speed. And then you've got like firearms officers. Well, they will be taser trained initially, and then they will go on to full firearms. Not all officers who are taser trained go on to become full firearms. But so there is layers upon layers. I think the guy that went in and was dealing with these two guys, in essence, once the first female police officer had a nose broken, I mean, she was sparked out. He gave her a dig, and then they went. I heard they're trained to fight with their feet to protect the firearms. That's exactly it, Kathy. That's exactly it. Because if you've got a gun, how can you fight with these? You can't go punching things, because if you break your knuckles, you can't use your firearms. And they are trained to use their firearms. So that's why they will use their feet. Firearms officers are not allowed to use their hands in case they lose their firearm. So all they have is feet. That's both Kathy and Togger 69. So there you see the reality of it. If he's gone into a fight and he's got his taser trained on this boy in blue, he has to nullify the threat. He has to deal with the threat immediately, proportionately, and appropriately. He's got to deal with it. He doesn't know what's gone on fully. He doesn't know what these boys have. You can have a criminal record and still join the police. Really? Wow. Need to do some research for that. Oof. Wow. So he would have. So he's used the taser on the boy in blue because he was the most violent. The fat lad was kind of acquiesced. He'd had a cop on top of him, but it was that boy, the big chunky guy, that had knocked his mother or grandmother to the floor. So it wasn't actually the cop, but the cop had the boy in blue come behind him, and I'll guarantee you this: the cop thought that boy was going to take his firearms. And that's the point where the firearms officer has to deal with it in milliseconds. There's no thinking, you've just got to nullify the threat. And that boy got the taser. Mad Matt says, Manchester's becoming a vile place, especially on a Saturday. Alan says, notice how Black Lives Matter jumped on the flipping bandwagon. Hardly a George Floyd moment, was it? Black Lives Matter are a busted flush. I mean, look at the people, the head honchos in America who've now got multi-million-dollar houses. How does that work then? However, there are some minor offences that may not automatically exclude you from joining. This will be determined as part of the vetting process. Thank you, Bad Wolf Project. Well, I'll have to do some more research because that's what they're talking about, the Met, since it all kicked off a couple of years ago. With those errant officers, firearms officers, but I think the vetting is supposed to be more stringent now. But let's look at the process from the point where they press their emergency button. They're fearing for their lives. They're needing backup. They're needing, as I said with the peelers, they used to just blow a whistle, and any cop within earshot would just run towards the whistle. And that's exactly the same thing with the emergency button. So what happens in the control room, from what I've been told? A cop will press their emergency button, and it differs from force to force, but it clears the airwaves of any chat or anything that's going on, and the emergency button is pressed, and it gives the officer, I think it may be 20 to 30 seconds, where they can speak and nobody else will interrupt. The channel is open and they can say what's going on, what's happening. I was told that sometimes they'll press an emergency button if they're chasing someone or they're in a fight with people and they're on the floor. But the channel is opened so that the control room can hear exactly what's going on. And then it cuts back to the channel so that the dispatcher or controller, as I was told, can say to them what's going on, what's your location, what's happening, give me some detail. And then very quickly, after maybe 15 seconds or so, it then cuts back to the officer's radio so that they have the channel and can give more detail. So if they're chasing somebody, they can say, I'm on this road in this direction, this person, and here's the reason why I'm chasing them, because that has to happen. So with the firearms, one of those two female cops will have pressed their emergency button. Now, the one that I saw sparked out, literally, the guy chinned her and she was gone, out, hit the floor, and then got her senses back together quite quickly. I believe that could possibly be the girly cop that's had her nose broken. But the other one, he chinned her and she went scattering. And at this point, the cop with the taser, because I think two of them had tasers drawn. The cop that was fighting both males had his taser drawn, but was fighting both males. And when that boy in blue came and attacked the back of his head, he was punching him in the back of the head, which absolutely can cause damage. He had to get it done. The chunky boy made his mother or grandmother fall over, so that wasn't the cop's mistake. That was the family's mistake. And then the boy in blue, poof, he had to stop it. He had to stop it immediately. He didn't know what had happened to his two colleagues. He had to take control of the situation, all of it. He didn't know how many more people were assailants. He didn't know how many more people were coming into the theatre, if you wish. And all these people that had their cameras on going, oh, bloody hell, bloody hell. Well, the cop's gone to work and he's dealing with arseholes. Would you have been as reasonable Would you have been able to work it out in a split second what you can and can't do? And remember, firearms officers have to make split-second decisions as to whether they're going to kill someone or not. And as importantly, if there's an XL bully that the owner has lost control of, firearms officers legitimately can euthanize the dog because it's out of control. Yeah, F-A-F-O, says Tom. I agree. So the emergency button's been pressed. There may have been some, and this will be recorded so that GMP will have this. There's no getting away from it. They've got the body cams to protect themselves. They've got the audio from the control room, which is all recorded. And thank you, Sunflower. Fast Jet Performance is an excellent channel. So once that process of clearing the channel, the officer that's pressed the red button, because sometimes from a friend that I spoke to this afternoon said, sometimes they press it by mistake and the person in the control room's going, so-and-so, so-and-so, is everything in order? And they go, oh, sorry, yeah, we're just, sorry. Who said that? O'Rourke Reader. What circumstances are the emergency buttons used in? I imagine it's quite limited. If it's a threat to themselves or a threat to others. So if you're, I don't know, if you're out on duty on a Saturday night and it kicks off in a pub, yeah, in the field. We'll ask this question and I'll continue to give you the detail. In the field says, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Was anyone surprised by the CCTV footage that's been released? Was anyone surprised by this latest update? The video, the CCTV video that was released. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Were you surprised? So, I think O'Rourke Reader was asking in what circumstances. It's only if officers fear for their own safety or the safety of others. If they've lost control of a situation. So, I don't know, say, a dozen kids have kicked off somewhere and there's only one cop, and then they turn on that one cop, then yes, if they fear for their own safety or the safety of others, if they need backup, and the rule is that if an emergency button is pressed, the cops literally drop everything and get there. So that's why, from what my friend was saying this afternoon, if a red button is pressed, the cops, so you get the access to the channel, your unique access to the channel. All the other cops will then dive in going, where are you, where are you, where are you? And everybody, drop everything, get there. Because a cop could be being kicked to death. Remember PC Keith Blakelock? Or PC, was it Yvonne Turner, who was shot dead? The red button is there for the officers to solicit assistance from other police officers, in essence. But it's not always just easy for them to press the red button and then just go. That's why they'll shout up, according to my friend, and say, oh, sorry, my mistake. But it's genuine when, according to my friend, you'll get the red button, and within their system, it tells you who it is. So say it's PC Allen 123 within their system, however this is. If my red button is pressed, then it will flash on their screen PC Allen 123, and the controller or dispatcher seemingly should know where that police officer is. And if they do, they get them there, they get them there, they get them there. And as Stuart says, it's not an easy job, full stop. I agree, especially in 2024. So control or dispatch gets access to the channel to ask the cop what's going on. Now, you may, Yvonne Fletcher, thank you. It may be that multiple cops are in what I would term a cowboy fight, where there's 20 of them, 3 cops, and it's getting unnecessary, very, very unnecessary. Like a couple of cops will press their emergency buttons because they're losing control of it, and they fear for their life. And so the control room will know exactly who it is and where they are, and then will tell everybody to get there. It depends on the location, because it could be, say it's North Yorkshire. North Yorkshire County is like 3,000 square miles. So can you imagine if a cop is in the middle of nowhere, presses the emergency button because he's dealing with three guys. For example, I'm just making this up, but he's discovered a drug deal going wrong, three guys, one's being shot, other one's being stabbed, but the guy with the knife and the gun is now turning himself over and wants to kill the cop. Red button, get some backup. Backup might not land there for half an hour. What do you do? But in Leeds or West Yorkshire, it's much more an urban environment, so there's lots of cops around. And I say that quite facetiously because there's no cops. There is not. If your house gets burgled, tell me how long it takes you before you get any contact from a cop. Anybody coming round? Could be weeks. Because there's no cops, there's no money, no funding, and the cops are doing their job with one hand tied behind their back. Now, there is a thing called, and I understand that some emergency services like ambulance use it, police use it, I think some of these unsocial services use it. It's called Thrive. Now, Thrive is in mnemonic. 4x2 is quicker than 999. Literally, I'll tell you this story. I worked in a nightclub, the name of which I can't remember, and one of the bouncers there, whose name I can't remember, said that somebody got in his house, and the missus is lying in bed next to him, and said to him, "Here, I can hear somebody in the house." And he said, "Oh, don't be silly, woman, go back to sleep." She said, "No, I can hear somebody in the house." So the only thing that he could pick up to take with him was a steel toe cap boot. And he went downstairs, and this kid had a knife. He took a knife out of the block in the kitchen. And I've said to you before that the predominant knife attacks are not some fancy Dan ninja sword or Bowie knife. They're literally ordinary kitchen knives. Now, everybody says, "Oh, he's got a machete, he's got a machete, he's got a machete down his trousers." Oh, no, that's not the majority. It's just the knives out of the kitchen. And so this guy went downstairs, and he saw this kid, and he swung this steel toe cap boot, and he said that he swore that this kid's jaw must have shattered into 20 million different pieces. He hit him so hard with a steel toe cap boot. And I said, "What happened?" He said, "He scarpered." Not quite sure how he would have told the hospital what had happened, but he said it was the only thing that I had to hand. He said, "I didn't want to pick up a knife." Can you imagine? Somebody gets hurt in the house, and you've got a knife in your hand, and your dib-dabs are all over the knife. Whoa, you're going to jail. Adrian, once red button is pressed, it's not a two-way radio system. It's a red alert emergency help needed immediately. That is correct, Les, but it is a two-way, because the dispatcher or the controller has to find out where that cop is. So what the system does, from my source, it flashes up red and makes an awful din, his words, not mine. So you can see immediately that there's a cop in trouble. And this is not, you can't wait like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get there. If a cop's in trouble and he's pressed his red button, and you've got to get there. PDQ. So the controller needs to know. And I'm not suggesting it's a two-way, as in you speak to the cop, you speak to the cop, you speak to the cop. What my friend was suggesting was it gives the cop access to tell control where they are, what's going on, if they can, because they may be rolling around with some 40-stone monster. All the radios are tracked. Yeah, yes, it is a red alert sort of thing, but it's an emergency button. That's what they call it. And the emergency button is only used in emergencies where they fear for their own lives or they fear for their own safety, and they can get somebody there. They can get backup there as quick as backup can get there. But there is something called Thrive, which is The mnemonic is threat, harm, risk, investigation, vulnerability, and engagement. So a lot of ambulances use this because they will tell their control thrive. The threat is harm has been, risk possibly, investigations we need to contact police, vulnerability maybe elderly, and engagement we're talking to them. But also for say a police force, the threat is reputational threat for the police force, as in GMP in this case. Harm, the police officers have come to harm. The risk, well, there was a high risk of somebody possibly being permanently damaged and or losing their life. So threat, harm, risk, investigation, then the police are now going to have their processes applied. Vulnerability, well, there could be a vulnerability to GMP, reputational risk. And engagement, well, they're trying to engage the community, and they're trying to engage the national media. So I would suggest to you from the video that I've seen that both males are guilty. From the video evidence, both males are guilty. At least 2 males are guilty. I reckon they are guilty of assault emergency worker ×3 and ×1. Because the big lad was fighting with 1 officer, yet the boy in blue has had a go at 3 officers, broken the nose of 1, knocked 1 out, definitely. So there is all that going on. Now, from what I can understand, and this, I'm very unsure of what's gone on legally, but 2 men have been released on police bail, and there is a police conduct inquiry. But I'll ask you, 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should we apply zero tolerance to violence in this country? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Should we apply zero tolerance? I mean, you may think it's a bit too hardcore. What was the police officer in Middlesbrough? Was it Ray Mallon? He went on to be mayor of Middlesbrough, and he said, zero tolerance. If my officers find you and you've done anything, zero tolerance. And oh, he was lauded like a hero in Middlesbrough. A person may use such force as is reasonable in the circumstances for the purposes of, in the alternative, self-defense, defense of another, defense of property, prevention of crime, lawful arrest. So that cop's got that defense. He was self-defense, defense of another colleague, defense of property, and prevention of crime and lawful arrest. So there's all that as defense for the cop, but that's police conduct. Now, normally when I ask you a question, we get lots of responses as ever, but some 1s, some 2s. Virtually everyone in there has said yes, for zero tolerance to be applied to our society. But, so I watched all of this, and it's very interesting that people are becoming hardcore around, as I say, the Tory party at the beginning of this piece. The Tory party were the party of law and disorder. They didn't apply that because people feel unsafe now. Literally everywhere. There's Adele. Adele has said, oh, I'm going to go back to the UK because I feel unsafe in America. Has anybody told her about the daily knife crime in London? And Mayor Sadiq Carnage is doing absolutely nothing about it. Napoleon Bonaparte says, we're all done with violence everywhere. I agree. I agree. People are at it, and people are getting away with it because they're allowed to get away with it. So I thought about the proposition of law and order. And we as a nation have gone soft on law and order. Rather than soft, I'll use the word weak and ineffectual. So we as a nation have gone weak on law and order. As I say, Tony Blair, soundbite politics, tough on crime, tough on the causes of crime. The politicians have underfunded policing for decades. Decades. There's an old saying, society gets the police force that they deserve. Retro on his bikes has said two-tier policing. I agree completely. But there's no cops to go to anything. Nothing. And cops are getting battered. They're overworked. They're not supported by their superiors. All the desk jockeys at the top, the donkeys, who've never been out on the streets for decades. They don't know what it's like. They don't know what a response cop has to deal with. I mean, in Scotland, when Police Scotland was started, the then Chief Constable said, right, all of the senior officers who've never been on the streets for decades, you're going out once a month. You'll go out on a Friday or a Saturday night. You choose the shift, but you're going out once a month. And you'll work with the PCs that have to deal with these scrotes and idiots day in, day out. Oh, honestly, if you get to sort of inspector level, you're very rarely out on the streets. But if you get to chief inspector and or superintendent or chief superintendent, those people, they don't get out on the streets. Oh no, rolling around with the great unwashed. But now, from what I can gather, in Scotland, it's a badge of honour if like a superintendent, super, has been out on the streets and has arrested somebody. They puff their chest out. Oh, I haven't done this for 20 years. How wonderful. Loved it. I mean, you don't get the chief constable out on the streets. They only come out if they're getting triple time on New Year's Eve. Police have so much funding if they can paint their cars in rainbow colours. Well, that's a very prescient point you make there, Retro. Very prescient. Senior officers need to get off the fence and support their officers. Instead, they pander to politicians and local community leaders. They do. They do, Lauren. So we have politicians who will use sound bites because it makes them look good. But let's have the politicians. They can go and observe. You can go in certain parts of society, can go and watch police officers, police forces in action. Them sort of media advisors. I've been offered a couple of times. I think I was on Century 106 in the East Midlands, where Leicestershire Police Force, one of the sergeants there, wanted me to go out on a on one of their days, one of their shifts. Just, I mean, it was definitely dull, some of it, and I ended up having a bit of a. I think he was a chief inspector. He just wanted to, get an extra pip. He was chief inspector. Yeah, you just go out with them, and I remember being taken out by some of the cops because some days they'll get run ragged. Other days there's not so much going on, and I hope because I don't want to go into too much detail because sometimes people don't like the police, and I get that. I completely get that. Look, I was brought up my early 20s. I was in on the miners' strike, and I know what Thatcher did, and I know Manchester lawyers being sacked. Really, Michelle? Is that the Birmingham or the Manchester? Is that the airport lawyers being sacked? What's the source for that, Michelle? If you could just let me know so I can corroborate it. But, with the miners' strike, Maggie used to have some of the army in police uniform, but didn't have their epaulets, didn't have the numbers. Still to this day, some of the mining communities won't have anything to do with policing or anybody. A bit like Liverpool not having anything to do with the Sun newspaper. So the whole system, and look, back in 2012, I was absolutely sure as eggs are eggs that the police were going to be taken over by G4. A lot of the peripheral stuff that policing does, G4 was going to take over that. And then it wouldn't have been a kick in the backside away from having G4 run police forces. But then you'll have the crooks. The crooks would be in the police force doing the policing and getting the funding, and then they would know who would have access to the system. So you can't have criminals and policing mixed. Just happened. Maya Tusi is live, now said it, and yes, Manchester Airport lawyer for them. Ooh, Maya Tusi. He's normally on. He was out with Tommy the other day. Bedtime, laters, peoples. Good to have you in the body of the Kirk tonight, Retro. Good to see you still alive and kicking, big lad. So it was going to go the way of Theresa May. Her husband was a shareholder of G4S. And there was a time when the Conservatives, they're corrupt. They're all corrupt. They were going to give a load of police work, obviously the stuff that the taxpayer pays for, give it to G4S, profit centre. And then they screwed up with the 2012 Olympics. And it was the London Olympics, and it was like, off you go, Foxtrot Oscar, don't want to know anymore. But I think we as a society, we as this collective that meet on a Sunday and a Wednesday at 8 o'clock, we as this collective, we have very particular views on things. And it's interesting that we've just gone so weak on law and order. So weak. And now they're saying, that the jails are like another week of sentencing at a court away from full capacity. Build some more bloody prisons then. I mean, it doesn't take Einstein to work out if you've got so many inmates who are in there for a reason, then maybe we need to build some more prisons. But then again, you'd have bloody G4S running them. So if you look at this national culture of weakness, because that's what it is, and it comes from the leaders down. The old Bovril says that this is all driven by welfare. You might have a very good point there, the old Bovril. The old Bovril. Because we're weak about things. But these politicians they're slippery feckers. Starmer wants to let half of the prisoners out from Allen. It's not half of the prisoners and I'm going to do a Belfield video around this, because I've got a lot of people saying to me, he's coming out, he's coming out, he's coming out. No, he's not. And the facts are these, that they're going to look at your tariff and what the Labour Party are looking at. And remember, it's the guy that owns the Timpson brand, the Timpson company. It also looks as if Park Prison, Bridgend, may have to be closed down due to bent staff. 12 or so dead inmates this year, and the fact that it's unmanageable. Blimey, Gareth. So society is violent. We get that. We know that knife crime is considered a firearms incident, so firearms officers can go to them. And so the Labour Party are looking at getting about 5,000, bringing the tariff down, looking at what people have been in for, whether it's less than 2 years, but they have a formula that they're going to work to, and they're looking to get 5,000 people out of jail within months to free up space for all the others that are coming in. So when these scroats turned up at Rochdale police station, the police are saying, we're just getting community feedback. This is the law. What the bloody hell do you want community feedback for? This is the law, the process of law. And we've had this kind of law for over 1,000 years. As Alan says, very convenient. All those scumbags coming back on the streets. Well, yeah, but maybe they've met themselves, the hero's journey. And Gareth says very presciently, are we living in a South Park episode? Not the one with ginger sphericals, hopefully. So they're getting community feedback. What the foxtrot hell? Oh, yeah, VixTex, I've seen that. I hope Scotland won't sell one of their islands to that self-proclaimed dictator. Yeah. So there's an island. Is it in the Outer Hebrides that a Muslim community or cleric is going to buy for about 3 million? Where's he getting 3 million from? And he's going to start up his own militia army on this island. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Sir Keir Starmer in the next 2 or 3 months runs screaming from Westminster going, I can't do it, I can't do it, they're all mad. So we've got the police force, GMP, saying, we're just getting community feedback. No, that's the tail wagging the dog. It needs to be, we're working with the community and we will make a decision as to whether any charges need to be brought. That's all. You're the police force. You do the policing. To make it even simpler, just implement the law of the land. The police force, GMP, are merely the evidence gatherers. They don't decide what can and can't be done. Just implement the law. And as the vote we had this evening, everybody voted one for zero tolerance. Everybody loves zero tolerance. I presume the reason being that people want to feel safe in their own homes. They want to feel safe on the streets. They want to feel safe when they're out and about with their families or their friends. And they don't want to go out and have a few sherbet dib-dabs and worry about what people are carrying and if they're going to get stabbed that night. So, look at it this way. If you do something that's against the law, breaks the law, you can get a group of people together, and if you kick off and build up enough fuss, you'll get whatever you want. Get enough people, like they did outside of Rochdale Police Station, they were egging the police station. If you get enough people and kick off about what's going on, there's every chance you're going to get off with it. We're getting to a point where we're going to have civil chaos and unrest. I mean, we're not far away from riots on the streets, are we? Because the people of this land, the indigenous population, and, you know, maybe one or two generations back who have been born here, doesn't matter about skin tone or religious beliefs or anything else other than you were born and bred here, pay taxes here, are part of the system here. The politicians and the policing, high ups, the desk jockeys, they need to start listening to us. Because, and I will tell you this, at the last consensus, there were 3.8 million Muslims in the UK. Now that might sound a lot. So there's 65 million Christians. Apart from a couple of Star Wars Jedi warriors. So the odds are that there's 20 Christians to one Muslim. Don't pick a fight. Don't take a knife to a gunfight. People don't feel safe. The politicians are not leading us. And remember, it doesn't matter the political hue. It doesn't matter whether it's the Tory party or the Labour Party. That's just an illusion. That's just to give you the illusion that you have some kind of control, that you have some kind of choice. You don't. It doesn't matter which one you vote for. The government always gets in. The New World Order, exactly that. Order out of chaos. And when communities of certain cultures have been untouchable since the 90s, they become brazen in the field. I agree. These two boys are going to be subject to the process of law. It's the biggest news story this week and possibly for quite a while, but they have to do something. I will sort of add a little addendum to that. Remember the triple murder in Bushy? Again, I'll give you insight into what the police can do and can't do. So they arrested the boy on the Friday. He's had a bolt to the chest, self-inflicted. And he's in a critical condition. So what the police can do is, yes, they can arrest him, but he has to be in a fit state to be charged. Otherwise, the process of law does not apply. If an individual is not fit for charging and thereby understanding what he's being charged with, and this is 3 murders, he's still in hospital. And the police have time limits to when they arrest someone. So they can arrest someone and keep them for 24 hours, maybe 36. And then they will possibly charge someone. It's highly unusual that the police will arrest someone and keep them in for, 72, 96 hours. Beyond that, you're looking at possible terrorist activity that they're arresting someone for, and they will take a week or two for that individual. to be charged with terrorist activity. But ordinarily, somebody that's arrested within 24 to 48, 72 hours maximum, that's when they're charged. This boy's not being charged. Weeks later, not being charged because he's not in a fit state. So my question to you is, did Tommy can be held for up to 10 days? Yeah, no, 2 weeks or so. But this boy that murdered the 3 women in Bushy, they must have had to de-arrest him. So I can speak about this now, because if he can't have been charged because he's in no fit state. And he can't have been arrested again and arrested again and arrested again. You got to go in front of a judge to ask for permission to rearrest. And that's the only reason I can speak about this, because it wouldn't be sub judice. If he's not arrested, if he's been de-arrested and they're waiting for his health to improve so they can charge him, rearrest him and charge him, it's a mess. But I believe very strongly that he was arrested on the Friday after the Tuesday and the story went away. Amalia, thank you. Night night all. Thanks, Adrian. Brill again. You're too kind. So she's obviously off to watch Love Island. So I'll round tonight off. I did a whole lot of prep, but I think we'll leave it at that, because I think this law and disorder state of the nation is going to run on for a while. And it's a shame, because all the good law-abiding subjects of the crown, and don't have anybody tell you that don't let them tell you that the citizens, they're not. We are all subjects of the crown. So thank you for your likes. Thank you for your subs. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more videos coming. And thank you for the live tonight. I will tell you eventually where I am and what I'm doing, but for the moment I can't zip. Not a thing. Let's see if we can get some free Battenberg out of Mr. Kipling. And other than that, be well, be safe, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.